Heroines, how is everyone today? So, I am popping on to share something that came up in a couple different ways today. One was with a potential client on a phone call, and I thought it was really important to talk about. We're in this day and age where we are so virtually connected, which is great. We have these means, for example, you have Facebook Live, we have text messages, we have emails, we have Facebook messages, we have Voxer, we have audio messages within text. There's so many different ways to virtually connect, or basically to connect with someone. And I really feel that we are, as entrepreneurs, and really as humans first, we are being asked to do more. We are being asked to look at business in a different way in this virtual world we live in. In other words, we are being asked to sort of, go old school, go back to writing the letter, to talking to your neighbors, to, getting out from behind our computer to actually make the shift happen that we want in our life, meaning to feel connection, to get, amazing new clients, to feel alive, and the list goes on. So, the share that I really just quickly wanted to pop on for a few minutes today to share around is really about connection, that it is about being as high touch as we can in what probably feels to a lot of us entrepreneurs as a low touch era that we're in. So, and it's not a problem. Again, we're all creative heroines here. We're always moving from problem to solution to express to the world who we really are. So it's not a problem. It's actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to realize that if this is how part of the world is, or if this is how we, of course, creating a virtual business and creating something that affects and impacts a lot more people is wonderful. And so how do we get to create, how do we get to act, how do we get to truly connect, not just with our clients or potential clients, but with everyone, in a more real and human way. So, the title of this live stream is How to Go From Networking to Feel Like Your Soul is Working. And what I mean by that is, there was a time and a place when we talked about in this industry, meaning in the industry of being a professional person. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're an entrepreneur, but just being a professional person. We have come from this place of networking, traditional networking, where you show up literally to a networking event and you work your magic. You talk to people in hopes of getting a client. Now, that never, almost 16 years ago when I started this business, it never really felt genuine to me. It never felt, there were very rare cases of events where I actually felt, where it was warm and inviting and friendly, and where people just really wanted to get to know each other. And if if there was a synergy, if it happened to sort of be that somebody, that a couple people or a few people sort of connected in a meaningful way, okay, then great. Then you would go off and sort of nurture that friendship or nurture that relationship. But really, it was very far and few between. And now, we're talking about this new age, this virtual world that we live in, which again allows us to do amazing things. It allows us to connect with people overseas. It allows us to literally work with people from all over the world in a virtual way. We are, again, as I said, we're also really being asked for, how do we stay high touch in this world? It's definitely inspired me in the last, I would say in the last couple of years, but definitely in the last 6 months of, okay, how can, and my business has always been really high touch. It's a boutique business. And it's always been top of mind. But it's now we're taking it a step further, where we are being asked to, go from networking, from this sort of the traditional way that we look at networking, to, well, how will I actually, again, feel connected to, this other human being? And here's an idea that sort of organically came about for me in my life. There was some consciousness around it, of course, but in a way, you could say it came about organically. So I think what we're being asked to do is really just get out from behind our computer and get out into the world doing more of the things that we love. So instead of the traditional networking where you go to a group or you go to an event and you network for those purposes only, I believe we're being asked to get out into the world, just really touch base literally with ourselves, touch base and really understand, what is it that I want to do in my life that's going to help, that's going to make me feel alive, and that's going to really align with my passions, my values, and my beliefs, and choose those events and choose those trips. And now I don't mean necessarily business specific events or business related travel. I mean, just get out into the world and do more of you, meaning make yourself happy, do the things that you really love to do. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So my husband, son, and I just got back from Italy and Israel. And in Israel, we had chosen this for one night stay. We had done this sort of traditional camping experience, which was in Israel in the desert, and it was amazing. And we arrived there after this other larger family of about 10 or 15 people had arrived. And to my surprise, but also not to my surprise, because again, magic exists everywhere. There's always amazing things like this happening in the world and in your world if you just sort of allow it to be. And again, if you're choosing the things that really align with who you are. Started talking to this family, realized that we were both born in the same place. She and I get to talking, that evening at dinner as we're making dinner, preparing dinner. We also spoke that next morning. By that next morning, she had asked me, "Hey, Michelle, what do you do?" And so I shared with her, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I just started a new business." Long story short, you can probably see where I'm going with this. She said, "Give me your information when we get back to the States. I just live in San Diego, you're in Los Angeles. Maybe you can help me with my business." So she and I are meeting up in 2 weeks. And then here's something else. So again, I chose that trip. That's what I wanted to do. Just really was present, in that moment, meeting her. And then another great example that just also was recent is my husband and I went to an event on Saturday at the yoga studio that I frequent, and the 2-hour event was around Akashic Records. Anyway, it was a spiritual sort of based event, and it was probably about 25 people there. A woman spoke up, and she was talking about visibility and asking the person who was leading, things around visibility and how to become more visible. Well, afterwards, I went up to her and I said, we heard you talking about visibility, and there's a lot that I write essentially about visibility and about confidence and about sort of how to go about being visible and how to feel good being visible. And all I did was write down my website address, saying, that's my blog. You'll find great, articles there. So she ended up emailing me saying, can we get on the phone? I'd love to talk to you more about this. So we ended up talking earlier today. So here's the point, is that, again, we can try so hard to make things work. We can actually believe, before we ever try to make things hard, we can actually believe that something is so difficult that we need to go to a particular place that is of a particular style, to pass out our, business cards, to do our elevator pitches, to, do all this stuff that probably doesn't even feel that great to begin with. Or we can just live the life that we, are intended for. We can actually just keep going out into the world and saying yes to the things that make us happy and be completely present in those moments. And if organically our work comes up, it's two different approaches. There's and not to say that of course, there's great value in being actively, one you could say is sort of a passive way to do it, another way is sort of an active way to do it. And I would actually say that the way that I'm sharing, again, this whole idea of, hey, let's just get out and be about connection, get out into the community, but get out into the community and network, or again, make your soul work by choosing the things that make you happy. Not necessarily that it's about, has to be about business, but that make you happy. And then just be of service in those moments, be present in those moments. I would actually say that in those moments, that is actively being out there in the world. If you are actively out being of service, and again, genuinely sharing with people, hey, I talk about that stuff. You should check out my blog. That is active. There is a sort of leaning back energy, where it's not, that you don't need anything from anyone, but that you have so much to give. So this idea, again, that it's about connection first, that it is about this high touch quality that you and I can continue to infuse into our online businesses, into our portable businesses, that is most important. So like I said, and I said it with a smile on my face, but it's very serious, meaning, it is time right now to go old school, meaning to write the letter, to get out and talk to our neighbors. Oh, another example was my husband's son and I have been walking around the block. Well, a lot. We do it a lot with our puppy, and we've been talking to as many neighbors as possible, not because we said we were going to, it just has been happening. We've just been sort of really open, really open to it. And sure enough, 2 days ago, walking around, we stopped to talk to a neighbor. He was with his little boy and little girl. We started talking about our scooters. Before you know it, about 20 minutes in, he says, "What do you do?" And we told him, my husband told him what he did. I told him what I did. And then, he told us what he did. He was an entrepreneur. He said, "Give me your information." And on it, went like that. So it was really interesting. Hi, my son just got home. So it was really, really interesting that, again, when you open yourself up to these opportunities, and when you're just living your life on purpose, and again, being open, being open to new friendships, being open to new opportunities, period, meaning new life opportunities as a whole, that's when you actually start to open yourself to new business opportunities. And not just any business opportunity, not just getting any business card, but actually the business opportunities and the opportunities for you to continue to grow your creativity, to continue to, expand your into your professional horizon. Again, in a really aligned way, in a way that makes your soul sing, versus feeling like, you are boxed into this sort of, again, traditional scheme, or, traditional way that things have been for so long. So that's, what I wanted to share with you today. It's been, again, a theme that has been very relevant in my life and business. And definitely came up today. So I wanted to share it with all of you. Think about, over the next 24 hours or so, just really think about how you can continue to get out there in the community. When I say community, I mean how you can get out really in the world and continue to do more of the things that really light you on fire, that really light you up. Because it's in those moments that you shine. It's in those moments that somebody can see, wow, this is an amazing woman right here. Like, what's she about? Hey, what do you do? Or what are you interested in doing? Maybe it's a new season for you and you want to start something, walking down a new path, or opening yourself up to a new professional career, or a new creative possibility, or a new passion project. So the more that you can feel alive, again, from a soul level, that is where your attraction is, is what's the word? That's where you are magnetizing. And that's the space we want to be in, because that's when we meet, amazing sort of soulmate clients. That is when we meet our soulmate. That is where we meet sort of new business opportunities, new professional opportunities that we really want. Again, not just, as I remember years ago when I still went to sort of traditional networking meetings or groups, not just, sort of from those moments, maybe getting 3 or 4 business cards that may or may not have meant anything, having conversations that were not soul aligned, or, that didn't really make you feel energized. But again, you were just sort of going through the motions. Creating a life and creating a business, that is beyond our expectations, meaning beyond sort of the norm. This is where we need to be. We need to be in the space of always asking, what is it that our soul wants? What is it that makes us feel alive? What is it that makes us come alive? Because it's in those moments that we meet exactly the people, hear about exactly the opportunities, and actually say yes, to the life that we were meant for. So with that, ladies, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I can't wait to chat with you soon. Enjoy your business and enjoy your life.